You are listening to The Fine Line with Joe Wiz.
Today's show is brought to you by NielsenDodge.com, where you can get more vehicle for less.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Wiz, and welcome to the latest edition of the Fine Line Podcast Edition. We thank you for tuning in, and we're going to bring you some big winners today in college basketball, college football, the NFL. I'm super pumped up. New Year's Day is on Wednesday. We got the Grade 8 that starts on New Year's Eve with the big matchup between Boise State and Penn State. Penn State is heavily favored over the Broncos, and of course, on New Year's Day, we have three marquee matchups. We'll talk about the big matchup between Oregon and Ohio State. Plus, Georgia takes on Notre Dame and Texas, Arizona State. Week 17 of the NFL season. Would you believe it? There's only one more week left of regular season action in the NFL. Well, we get treated today. We got 3 games on the board today in the NFL. It starts at 1 p.m. when the Chargers take on the Patriots. The current line has the Chargers favored by 5.5. The total of this game's at 42.5. Broncos are taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, Cincinnati, people think they could be dangerous if they make it into the postseason. We're not sure they're going to make it, though. They're favored by 3.5. The total of this game is at 50. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals and the LA Rams. The Rams need to win this game. They almost got a break when the Bears almost pulled off the upset on Thursday night. We were on Chicago plus the 4. We got the cover over the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks barely won the game 6-3. I was happy. I had the Bears plus 4. We went to the bank. And then, of course, tomorrow we got 9 games on the NFL slate. The marquee matchups for tomorrow would be the 4:25 game, Green Bay and taking on Minnesota. Vikings just a tepid favorite, -1. The total's at 48. The Packers are in and the Vikings are in, but the Vikings certainly would like to win this game and force the Lions to win Monday night in San Francisco. That may not be as easy as people think. The line's just 3.5. The Lions are favored over by 3.5 over San Francisco. And you know the Lions would like to get some revenge after getting knocked out by the 49ers in the NFC Championship game last year. We'll talk about the Monday night game. The other marquee matchup for tomorrow in Sunday's NFL action, the Sunday night game, which was flexed, the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Washington Commanders. Washington's favored by 3.5, coming off that big come-from-behind win over the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Atlanta Falcons knocked off the Giants last week. They're going to go with Michael Penix Jr., so we'll see what happens there. And then, there's not that many great games, but there's some opportunities to make money. Today, there are 8 bowl games on the board as well, in addition to the 3 NFL football games. And I absolutely love one game today where I feel the wrong team is favored. This is a dog that's going to win outright. And everyone knows I love the dogs. And you could give me a call right now at 888-946-7000. My number's easy to remember. It's 888-WIN-7000. It starts early with the bowl action. UConn takes on North Carolina. Right now, the line has North Carolina favored by 2.5. The total of this game is at 53.5. You take a look at this game here. North Carolina, Brown's gone after this game. Bill Belichick did not make the trip for North Carolina. Even it's so weird to hear Bill Belichick not making a trip for North Carolina, but this game will be played in Boston. It's called the Fenway Bowl, and there'll be a lot more UConn fans there than there will be North Carolina fans. But, sometimes they talk about the home field advantage. I'm not sure how much of an advantage that's going to be for UConn. North Carolina has the better offense. Connecticut, down the stretch, they faltered a little bit. Then at noon, you have Boston College taking on Nebraska. Nebraska is favored by 4 in this matchup. The total's at 46.5. This game will be played in the Bronx. It's the Pinstripe Bowl game. Weather in New York today is going to be iffy. It's going to be a little drizzle, a little dreary. Good luck if you go into that game. You couldn't pay me to go to that game. But I know there'll be some diehards, mostly college football fans. Lafayette taking taking on TCU. Iowa State taking on Miami. Miami's favored by 4.5. This game is being played in Orlando. So we're going to see what happens here with this matchup here in Orlando, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Is Cam Ward going to play the whole game? It's a little tricky with these bowl games. The transfer portals have ruined all the bowl games. I remember in the old days, everybody played. Now it's just a guess who's playing, who's not going to play. It's really tough unless you have some good information like we get. We had to sweat it out on, I don't know if you saw the line on Friday with the early bowl game with Navy in Oklahoma. Navy was a 3-point dog. But guess what? By the time the line closed at noontime, Navy went all the way to a 1-point favorite. And they had to hold off Oklahoma. Oklahoma took a 14-point lead. Then Navy came back and took 21-14 lead. Then Oklahoma scored and went for a 2-point conversion. We had Navy +3. People say, hey, I don't like buying points. I bought 1 point because at the time when I put the game out around 9, 10 a.m., the line was at 2.5. We took it to 3. The line slowly went down by quarter to 12 o'clock. Navy was a 1-point favorite. We had Navy +3. We cashed in. The point I'm making is some of these games here, the spread you have to pay attention to. Miami, Ohio is taking on Colorado State. Nobody's paying attention to this game here. Miami, Ohio is favored by 2.5 over the Rams, and the total is at 41. East Carolina takes on NC State. Right on X, I gave out the winner of this game. I gave out East Carolina +7. I think they have a shot to pull off the upset, and they're getting 7, so I took a shot with ECU. What about BYU and Colorado? This is an interesting game here because, Colorado, we're not sure what to expect with Deion Sanders and his son and all that other stuff. But right now, Colorado is favored by 3.5. The total's at 55. BYU has a good defense. They were ranked at the top 10 in the country this year, but they faltered down the stretch. And then later on, Louisiana Tech takes on Army. Army's heavily favored by 14. They were supposed to play Marshall. Everybody quit on Marshall. Even though I had Marshall in the last game of the regular season, we won that game. They quit. Everybody quit. It's just insane that all these players and the NIL has ruined college football as far as I'm concerned. I'm pumped up because there's 8 bowl games today, and there's 3 NFL games, and there's 32 college basketball games, and there's NBA. I got you covered. My big play is in football. It's a dog that's going to win outright. You call me, you're going to win at 888-946-7000. Call me now, and you're going to win. If you can't call, hey, follow me on X. There's a free winner on there right now, Joe Wiz Sports. Go to Instagram. Follow me there. You get free picks for the rest of your life. Joe Wiz Sports on Instagram. And my tip sheet is out. We have all the winners in the bowl games. We got NFL. We got hockey. We got soccer. We got horse racing from Gulfstream. White Barrio's running today in the big race down at Gulfstream. The winner is available in the tip sheet. So whether you like hockey or horse racing or football, soccer, it's all available. Over 20 free winners. Go get a copy of the tip sheet. Go to my website right now, joewizsports.com. And check out my VIP pass. We have a 1-day pass for $49. You get my 3 top picks. If I don't go 3-0, you get the next day free. So even if you go 2-1 and you make money, you're getting the next day free. We have a 5-day plan for $149. We also have a money management plan. You'll be shocked how many people don't know how to manage their money, whether it comes to sports betting. I like to treat it as an investment, not sports betting. People can't manage their money in real life, right? How many times you go out to the bar or a restaurant, you wake up in the morning, you check your pocket, you're like, where did all my money go? Same thing happens when you're in a casino or when you're online. Betting online on the phone app is a little dangerous. I always like to go there in person. Some people don't have that benefit. Hit me up right now. Get a copy of my tip sheet on my website, joewizsports.com, or follow me on Instagram. You have a question about any game on the board on Instagram, hit me up and I will give you the winner. Send me a DM right now on Instagram. You have a question about a money line, a total, a teaser, a prop play, just don't ask me about parlays. I always say parlays are sucker bets. They're high-risk bets. Yeah, you can bet a parlay for $100, but never make a parlay your primary bet. I have a game today that has a 90% chance of winning. That's all you need, right? It's a dog that's going to win outright. Do the spread and do the money line. Hit me up right now. 888-WIN-7000. My phone number is easy to remember. 888-WIN-7000. The minute you call, you're getting a dog that's going to win outright. And you can request a copy of the tip sheet. We'll send you a link right on your phone or go to my website, JoeWizSports.com. I'm going to have a lot of free winners coming up. We're going to take a quick break.
Matt Brown with your college football flash update. Penn State takes on Boise State in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl in the second round of the college football playoffs. The Nittany Lions enter this one an 11-point favorite despite splitting their last 4 against the spread. The over-under for this one sits at 52.5, but Boise hasn't hit an over in their last 3 games. Can the Broncos stop Penn State? Head over to Joe Wiz.
The Wiz is at it again. There's one game today in the NFL where the wrong team is favored. The line is off by 10 points. Get it free on a recorded message. 800-301-0944. Let's face it, everyone says they win, but the Wiz will prove it, and it's free on tape. Call 800-301-0944. Bet the spread and bet the money line. The wrong team is favored. Call, listen, and win. It's free on a recorded message. 800-301-0944. The Wiz has a successful money management program with a big ROI. Return on investment. Get this big dog free on tape. You don't want to miss this big dog. It's free on a recorded message. Call 800-301-0944. It's a recorded message. 800-301-0944.
Hello, everyone. This is the genius, Sean Miller. Looking for the best place to keep up with breaking news and expert sports picks? Look no further than rantsports.com. Rant Sports is your one-stop shop for everything sports. Catch Joe Wiz's weekly picks, plus breaking news and expert insights from top names like Mark Eckel, Sean the Genius Miller, and Ben Mattinson. With in-depth articles, video picks, and real-time updates, Rant Sports is where true sports fans go for the full experience. Remember,
Kick off your Sunday with a Wiz on the Fine Line. Sunday at 8 a.m. It's Week 17 of the NFL. Green Bay faces the Red Hot Vikings, and Atlanta's at Washington in prime time. Plus, it's all on the line in college football. Penn State and Texas are heavily favored. Will they both cover? And who's moving on, Oregon or Ohio State? Follow the Wiz on Instagram at Joe Wiz Sports. It's the best bet in town. The Fine Line with a Wiz Sunday at 7 a.m. Sponsored by Nielsen.
Today's show is brought to you by NielsenDodge.com.
I'm Matt Brown with your college football flash update. An 11 a.m. kickoff kicks off a big Saturday with 8 bowl games and a triple header in the NFL. No, it's not college basketball, it's football, as UConn battles North Carolina in the Fenway Bowl. Despite having a better record, the Huskies enter a 2.5-point dog, with the over-under set at 52.5. Can the Huskies get the upset?
You are listening to the Fine Line Podcast Edition. I'm the Wiz, and thanks for tuning in. Most of you are familiar with me on 880 ESPN in New York. I'm on every Saturday morning at 8 a.m., and tomorrow, which is Sunday, is my final NFL show on the Fine Line on ESPN 880 in New York. So you could listen to the podcast here, download it wherever you found me today, whether it's on Buzzsprout or Spotify or YouTube. Today we just got audio, but moving forward, you'll be able to see me on video as well. And we hope to bring you some exciting information, some graphics, and all that other stuff. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. And listen, the best way to get some updates is by following me on Instagram, Joe Wiz Sports. I prefer Instagram. Some people like X, I was going to say Twitter, same thing. On X, Joe Wiz Sports, and got some news that we're going to be also be working with with TuneIn. I don't know if many of you are you familiar with TuneIn? That's an app that you can download, and I'll be on there as well with the Genius. Most of you have heard about the Genius. He used to be on the show with me here on the Fine Line. We work together behind the scenes, but it's going to be called The Wiz and the Genius. That's right, The Wiz and the Genius. We're going to be back on the air together, and we'll be talking about everything. The Genius loves soccer, and of course, he does well with his basketball and football, and we'll be talking about a lot of stuff. The new show will be called The Wiz and the Genius. Stay tuned for more updates, but we'll be on TuneIn. That's an app that you can download download. TuneIn is available nationwide. I will still be on 880 ESPN in New York on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. And of course, Sundays. Tomorrow is my last Sunday on because next week is the last week of the regular season. Then it goes into the playoffs and so forth. So we're going to be doing a lot of podcast work during the week. So it's not going to just be on the weekend. So again, wherever you get this, wherever you downloaded this app, stay tuned. Make sure you follow me on X or on Instagram, and there will be updates all the time as far as when you can listen to the updated podcast. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing 2 or 3 a week, but there'll be updates. I'd like to do one every day. You know, we just got to get a sponsor. So if you're out there and you got a business and you'd like to sponsor our show, whether you have a car dealership or whether you have a 420 dealership or whatever you have, whatever business you have, a restaurant or a bar, and you'd like to be part of the Fine Line family and sponsor us on ESPN or on TuneIn, you could do it. Just hit us up on Instagram, send me a DM, and I would love to talk to you. Joe Wiz Sports. And the Powerball drawing is tonight. And hey, you qualify to win a free $1 million. Everyone's like, how do I win $1 million? Well, here's the deal. You got to follow me on Instagram or X, right? You send me a DM, and then we send you a check mark back. That check mark means that you qualify to win a free $1 million. We have to hit the Powerball drawing, not 5 out of 6 either. I mean, we got to win it all. And you get $1 million cash. And here are the numbers: 13, 39, 41, 47, 62, and the Powerball number is number 23. If I hit the Powerball drawing, you find out that the Wiz hit it, you're getting $1 million. But if you don't have that check mark, don't try and get the check mark after I win. You got to do it now. You got nothing to lose. And by the way, when you send me a DM on Instagram, we'll also send you my big dog today. One big dog. I'm not talking about my dog Tucker. He's in the tip sheet. So is Rex and so is Jazzy. We got several dogs in the tip sheet. But I'm talking about a big dog today in sports where you can make some big money. There's 3 NFL games, 8 bowl games, 1 game, the wrong team is favored. The line is off by 10 points, and you're going to get it free. Just call 888-946-7000. My number is easy to remember. It's 888-WIN-7000. All you have to do is call, and you get the winner. If you want a copy of my tip sheet, you want 20 free winners in basketball, NBA, soccer, hockey, even horse racing, go to my website, joewizsports.com. You get a copy of the tip sheet. It has over 20 free winners available in the tip sheet, and it's loaded with free information. Get a copy of it on my website, joewizsports.com, or when you call to get my big dog today, just call, and it's free at 888-WIN-7000. My tip sheet has "Don't Get Bit by the Dog." There are several big dogs in the tip sheet. As I mentioned, Rex, we got Tucker, we got Jazzy. It's all in the tip sheet. Which dog's going to be covering? I am pumped up because there's 3 NFL games. As I mentioned, 8 bowl games. 1 game, there's going to be an upset. You could do the spread and do the money line, and it shows a big ROI. That's what this show is about, return on investment. There are 32 college basketball games on the board for today, and it starts at 2 p.m. First game is Ole Miss. They're 11-1, taking on Memphis at 9-3. Mississippi's only lost 1 game. That was a Purdue by 2. They're traveling to Memphis. Memphis lost their last game to Mississippi State. I get on the fine line. I gave out the home team here, Memphis Tigers. So I'm going to stick with Memphis in this game here. They're a small favorite, -1 lines, about to pick them. I do like Memphis in this matchup. There's a couple other games that are of interest in college basketball that some people may or may not be. Loyola Maryland is playing DePaul. DePaul is favored by 17. DePaul doesn't blow anybody out. They're 8-4, okay? They're 6-6 against the spread. So I think the spread's a bit high. DePaul has lost 4 of the last 5 games. And now they're favored by 17. That's too many points. They're playing Loyola Maryland. Loyola Maryland plays in an inferior conference in the Patriot League. They're 5-5 with a 4-5 spread record. But I think they can hang around with DePaul. Not a major play, but I would take the dog in that game here. How about Syracuse and Bucknell? Syracuse is favored by 13. Bucknell comes in with a record of 4-8. Bucknell plays in the Patriot League also, but they're 8-4 against the spread. Orangeman could be, win but not cover the spread. New Mexico taking on Colorado State. That game is available in my tip sheet. When I gave it out in the tip sheet, Colorado State was getting 2. Now, Colorado State's a 1-point favorite over New Mexico. And Colorado State is a 7-5. They've won 2 in a row. They won at Nevada, 66-64. They beat Radford. Well, Radford's, so-so. They lost a couple of games on the road at Virginia Commonwealth, at Colorado. So we'll see what happens there. New Mexico is 9-3, just 5-6 against the spread. New Mexico, they won against Virginia Commonwealth in the last game here. I picked the Rams to knock off New Mexico. And the marquee matchup for today in college basketball is UCLA traveling to Inglewood to take on, Gonzaga traveling to Inglewood to take on UCLA. Gonzaga is favored by 4 in this matchup. UCLA lost to North Carolina in the last game at the Garden. I was disappointed because I had the Bruins in that game. They had the ball with a 1-point lead. All they had to do was get fouled and they win the game. Somehow North Carolina knocked the ball off of the UCLA player, went out of bounds. North Carolina gets the ball, hits a shot, and then they eventually win the game. All we had to do was hold the ball, do nothing else. We had a 1-point lead. The shot clock was off. And somehow we lost that game. And listen, I like to be transparent. I don't win every game, but that was a little frustrating. Gonzaga comes in with a record of 9-3, 6-6 against the spread. Gonzaga's not the same team. Well, maybe they are. I don't think they are. They beat Bucknell and Nichols in the last 2 games, but their 3 tests this year, they failed. They lost against UConn at the Garden. They lost to Connecticut and in Seattle. That was in Gonzaga's home away from home, and they lost to West Virginia as well. So I gave out the Bruins in this game. I took +5. That's a tough number to find right now. I'm really pumped up. There's 3 NFL games and there's 8 bowl games today, and one of them is a big dog that's going to win outright. Call me now, 888-946-7000. That's 888-WIN-7000. The minute you call, you're going to get a dog that's going to win outright. Let's face it, everyone says they win, but I actually prove it. If you go to my website, I made the biggest legal bet ever in the state of New Jersey. I set the state record. Listen, I'm not saying I'm the best handicapper because I'm not. Okay? I hit about 62%. People are like, well, that's it, 62%? Heck, you could hit 60% in this business and make thousands of dollars. You could hit 50% and make money. They're like, well, how could you make money if you hit 50%, Joe? Well, money management is more important than this percentage thing that everybody's hooked on. The hook thing is another story for another day. But listen, you could bet 2 games for a nickel each and say you lost both of those games, right? And you lost a dime without the juice. And then say you bet 2 games for a dime each and you picked up $2,000. So your record's 2-2, 50%, but you're up $1,000. So money management is one of the most important things I tell people about more than anything else. I tell them to stay away from parlay, stick with straight bets, and bet smart. Remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You got to pace yourself. Sometimes if, you got to look for good spreads. If there's a dog and you like it and the line's 2.5, the most common time we buy a hook. If it's 2.5 and you're playing a dog, always buy it to 3. If the line's 6.5, always buy it to 7. If you're playing a small favorite or small chalk, as they call it, I usually do the money line. If the line's less than 2 points, I don't mess with the spread. 2.5, I'll even play some juice. Getting good numbers is going to determine whether you're not successful or not in this business. You don't want to take bad numbers because you'll go broke. My tip sheet has over 20 free winners in it right now. In the NFL, the bowl games, you want to know who's going to win? Ohio State and Oregon. Wow, that's going to be a great game. The Rose Bowl game, that free pick is available in my tip sheet. Get it right now. Go to my website, joewizsports.com. It's available right there. And then, of course, you got the New Year's Eve game. I'll give that to you. We gave out Boise State +11. I think they can hang with the Lions. Lions, overwhelmed SMU, but I think that this game here will be closer. Boise State's got a good running back, obviously, in Gentry, and I think that they can keep it respectable. I'm not saying they'll pull off the upset. Texas and Arizona State, I think that line's a little high. Notre Dame, Georgia, what's going to happen? That game is also available in my tip sheet. Go to my website to get a free copy of it at joewizsports.com. Check out my VIP pass. One day's only $49. 5-day plan's $149. You're going to make a ton of money when you get my tip sheet. There's over 20 free winners in it. And you got to follow me on Instagram, or if you like X better, Joe Wiz Sports. I'm super pumped up because tomorrow I'm going to be on 880 ESPN breaking down all the games for week 17 of the NFL season. And then we're going to be working on the my new show, which will be called The Wiz and the Genius. That's right, The Wiz and the Genius. And you can download the app. The app is TuneIn. And we'll also be down in Florida on one of the stations down in Florida. In Tampa, we'll be down in that area. So you'll be able to get me a lot more, even though I'm not going to be on 880 in New York on Sundays. I'm going to have my podcast now. I'm super pumped up. I've been talking about it forever. And then I've been talking about it for so long, but now there'll be an opportunity for you to be able to listen to me all the time. So whether you're doing the podcast, whether you're going to be on TuneIn, I got you covered. And that's what it's all about. So pay attention. Follow me on Instagram, and you'll be getting updates on when you can get the podcast. Tune in. Sports Talk Florida on X. Check out Sports Talk Florida on X. I'll be on their network as well down in Florida. We'll be running a show down there that we'll be doing a weekly show. And so you'll be able to find me more now than you're ever going to find me, because we're going to have the weekly podcast, and it's going to be 3 or 4 times a week, right? We're going to really cover a lot of sports and give you some winners. That's what everybody wants, free winners. And I'm going to have a ton of them tomorrow on 880 ESPN in New York. There'll be plenty of opportunities for you to get a lot of picks. Today is my big dog. You call me, 888-WIN-7000. 3 NFL games, 8 bowl games, 1 game has a 90% chance of winning. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, the Colts are taking on the Giants. They'll be giving away free tickets at MetLife. Who would want to go see the Giants and Colts play at MetLife Stadium? Some diehards will be there. Raiders and Saints. I can't believe the Raiders are favored by 1. The Saints didn't score a point against the Packers. Play under 38 in that matchup. Bills and Jets. Jets are favored by 10. Totals at 46. Green Bay and Minnesota, that game's available in my tip sheet. Go to my website to get it, joewizsports.com. Jalen Hurts is out for the Eagles. The Eagles are still favored by 7.5. Totals at 38.5. Dallas has won and covered 4 of the last 5 games. It could have been 5 straight, except they had that implosion against the Cincinnati Bengals where they should have won the game. Could have, should have, would have. I had them +7. They covered, but they got a push, I should say. They should have won the game outright. Sometimes you got a little bad luck. Miami's taking on Cleveland. The weather's going to be fairly okay there, so Miami don't have to worry about playing in frigid Cleveland at the end of January, but end of December, beginning of January. Hey, New Year's is on Wednesday, as I mentioned. The big games are going on. There's a lot of bowl games in between now and then. Give me a call to get information about my bowl package at 888-WIN-7000, and I will give you a big dog today. 1 game that has a 90% chance of winning. Boy, I have so much more to talk about, even on the podcast here, but we're going to cut it short this week just to give you a quick synopsis of what's going on. I gave you some winners in each sport. I'll even throw in an NBA game here. Knicks are playing back-to-back games against, they played Orlando, and then they're playing Washington. Washington really stinks, but I give out Washington plus the points. If I'm getting double digits with Washington, Knicks don't care if they cover. They're playing back-to-back. They're traveling. A lot of teams are doing that tomorrow. Phoenix Suns and Golden State, same thing. They both play Friday night. They're both traveling. Play the under in the matchup between Phoenix and Golden State Saturday. I like the under in that matchup. Dallas played on Friday. They're traveling to Portland. No Doncic for a while. That totals at 224.5. Dallas is favored by 4. So pay attention. I always say, a lot of things where teams are traveling, playing back-to-back. Best thing to do is to follow me on Instagram, Joe Wiz Sports. Get ready for my new show. It's called The Wiz and the Genius. So you'll be able to get a lot more information about all the sports activity going all over the place. On X, check out Sports Talk Florida. We got you covered here on the Fine Line. And remember, hit me up at 888-WIN-7000 and get my big dog. And you can also get a copy of my tip sheet on my website, JoeWizSports.com. We're going to cut it short for this week. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on 880 ESPN New York. Again, that's my last Sunday show. I'll be on Saturdays till hopefully beyond March Madness. But for Sunday, this is the last one. Make sure you tune in on 880 ESPN New York at 7 a.m. And then, of course, you'll be able to get my podcast every week. I'm going to have it on a couple days a week. And then get ready for The Wiz and the Genius. You can find the show on TuneIn. TuneIn, download that app because I'm going to be on there. It's going to be called The Wiz and the Genius. And we're going to have a ton of free winners. And we hope we can make you some money as 2025 rapidly is approaching. In case you don't pick me up tomorrow morning, I want to wish everyone a safe and happy New Year. New Year's Day is on Wednesday. Let's make it a big year. 2025 is here. Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.